You are not too late. You are not starting over. I hate when women say that because we're in midlife. We are not ever starting over. We have too much wisdom and experience after all the years we've spent learning and pouring into others. We've got so much to begin from. You are already building from everything you've already lived. So God is not finished with your story. And the fact that you're here and you're listening and you're wondering about what is still possible, that is not desperation. That's a woman who's waking up to her calling. And that's beautiful. So beautiful. Because the midlife crisis culture, wants to tell you the season is something you just have to survive. And I'm here to tell you it is something to build from, because your comeback is not behind you. It's right here and it's waiting for you to say yes. If you're tired of living in survival mode and questioning your worth and faith after divorce and want simple steps to heal, drop that shame and guilt, and rebuild your confidence, you're in the right place. Hey, I'm Lori Ann, certified Christian life coach and midlife divorce mom of 2. I learned the secret of how to heal after divorce and rebuild my life through faith-based strategies that changed everything. And if you're ready to remember who you truly are, rediscover your purpose in midlife, love well again, and care for your body and soul, welcome to the club. You're in the right room. Hey girl, and welcome back to the Midlife Comeback Club podcast. I'm so glad you're here today. New episodes are always dropping every single Monday and Thursday. So if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that right now so you never miss one, okay? I want to ask you something today. And I really want you to sit with this for just a second before you actually answer, okay? When is the last time you thought about what your life could still look like? Not what it used to look like, not what you thought it was going to look like by now, but what it could still become. Because here's what I know about the woman listening to me right now. Something has shifted in you. There was something that ended or changed or just suddenly stopped working. And somewhere in the quiet, maybe it's in your car on the way to work or late at night when the house finally gets still, you've had this thought and it's, am I too late? And girl, I recorded this episode specifically for that moment because I really want to tell you something that I wish someone had told me when I was sitting on my mother's living room floor, pushing 50 with no income, no plan, and 2 little kids asleep next to me, wondering the exact same thing that you are. Your comeback is not behind you. I promise. So I want you to stay with me today, okay? Because I'm really excited today. We are going to be talking about what God is actually doing in this midlife season. Even when it looks like nothing, absolutely nothing like you had planned, especially then, okay? But before we get into today's episode, I really want to talk directly to all of my women out there who have been with me for a while. Because if you have been listening to my podcast and if you have been doing the healing work, you've been rebuilding your confidence and finding yourself again after divorce, first of all, I am so, so proud of you, genuinely proud of you. That work is not easy and you are showing up for it anyway. But here's something that I kept hearing from each and every one of you over and over again that I have been coaching over the last several years. From all of you women who have been doing the inner work, the women who have healed, the women who have gotten to the other side of the hardest season of your lives. You would tell me, Lori Ann, I feel so much better. I know who I am again now, but I still don't have any financial freedom. And I don't know how to get there. So girl, I have listened and I have heard you now for so long. And honestly, this is exactly what led me to build what I am about to tell you about today, which I'm so excited about because this is the one piece I think that has been missing, but I wanted to make sure that I did it first and I could get it right so that I could teach you how to do the same exact thing. Because a true comeback, a real full comeback that I'm talking about, is not just emotional healing. It is having financial freedom. It's having full life freedom, like I like to say. It's meaningful work. It's waking up, on a Monday morning and knowing that what you do with your day actually belongs to you. So I went first. I built my whole business and several other businesses from scratch using AI, using faith, using 90 minutes a day. It didn't have to be all in one time block. I could separate them out over the course of the day, but it was 90 minutes total. So I could show you this exact path that I am so excited to share with you. Step by step, there'll be no second guessing, no figuring it out on your own. And that is what I'm going to do with the Midlife Comeback Club now. We're adding this in because it is the next chapter of everything that we have been building together. And I'm just ecstatic to share it with you. So I'm going to tell you all about it at the end of today's episode, okay? But just know that if you have been waiting for the part where the comeback gets really practical, just hold on to that thought, girl, okay? So let's get into today. Let's be honest about something first. There is this narrative that a lot of us in midlife have accepted as truth, and we didn't even really notice it was happening. It kind of just settled in like dust on a shelf or something. And that narrative goes like this. It's something like, I had my chance, I made my choices, and now I'm too far in or too far behind to start something new. Or maybe for you, it sounds like I'm too old. Maybe it sounds like that ship has sailed, girl. Can't go there. Or maybe it's just, I should have started 10 years ago. Now I'm too far behind. And I can just say, I understand why it sounds that way. I really do. Because when you're in the middle of a life that looks nothing like what you had planned, when you are rebuilding something from the ground up, and when you're just staring at a version of yourself you don't entirely recognize yet, it's so easy to confuse a transition with an ending. But here's the thing. What if it's not an ending at all? What if this total messy, disorienting, nothing is going according to plan moment and season is actually the setup? What if God's not late? He's just working on a timeline that you can't see yet. Because I can remember a specific night in my life when I was on my mother's living room floor. My two kids and I were living there. My kids were super little at the time. We had our dog. I had no income. I had no plan. And I had no real idea of what was coming next at all. I tried to comfort my children and act as if I did, but I didn't know. And I remember lying there in the dark every night for a total of 9 months, to be exact, thinking, this is it. This is where I ended up. This is my life now. And I'm not going to sugarcoat that moment because it was one of the hardest seasons of my life. But here's what I know now that I did not know then. God wasn't absent in that room every night as I cried myself to sleep most nights. He wasn't shaking his head at me, He wasn't disappointed in how things had unfolded. He was building something, even though I couldn't see it at all. All I saw was the dark tunnel with no light at the end. That's how I saw it. And the woman that I was becoming on that floor every night, my kids were sleeping on little pallets. It got so bad that I had bought them air mattresses, and they were little and loved to jump on things at that time, and instantly within a couple weeks had punctured holes in them and killed the air mattresses. And then I couldn't even afford to go get a new one. And so I just stacked a couple blankets down, like the old school pallets, and we were using those instead. It was bad, but through that pain and through that surrender, through that, just absolute rock bottom humility of needing help and accepting it from my mother at the time, that woman that I was becoming would eventually build something meaningful. And it wasn't despite that season, it was because of it. So your mess is not a detour. Your mess is actually your message, which is probably so hard to see right now. And your comeback, it didn't end on that floor, right? Mine was just beginning on that floor, but I couldn't see that at the time. So I want to bring in something from Isaiah 43:19 here. God says, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" I love that question so much. Do you not perceive it? He asks. He's not asking if you can see the finished product. He's asking if you can perceive the movement, that shift, the thing that is starting to spring up, even when it still looks like bare ground, right? And then there's Jeremiah 29:11, my favorite verse. But stay with me because I want you to hear this differently today, okay? For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. He said future, not past, future. And he did not say plans I had for you before things got really complicated. He said plans I have in the present tense, the active tense, the right now tense. So God's not working from some old blueprint. He's working from his. And his is still very much in progress. It's ongoing. And I remember looking at that verse. I had a literal post-it on the floor next to where I was laying every night. And I looked at that verse every single night. And to be honest with you, every single night I was angry when I read that verse because I did not see how there was any possible way that God was going to make my life better. I thought my future was over. And I'll be vulnerable when I share that because I really want you to know that you're not alone. I mean, you might see me now on the other side of all this and think, oh, it was just easy for her to walk through all that. But it wasn't. Trust me. It was difficult. It was dark. It was messy. There was anger. I was bitter. There was a lot of unforgiveness going on for a period of time. And I couldn't see how God was going to turn it all around. But I did at least do the action of putting the post-it there. But I cried myself to sleep most nights as I looked at it. So I just want to share that to make you aware that if you are in that moment right now, it's okay to be there for a bit and sit with it. And I want to give you the hope that if you see me now on the other side of it, that you are going to get there too. So how do you actually start to believe it? How do you go from, I think I might be too late, to my next chapter might be actually my most meaningful one? So here's what I want to give you today, okay? These are 3 shifts. They're not going to be steps. They're actual shifts that you have to make because this is not about doing something different. It's about seeing something differently first. So I want to start there with you, okay? Number 1, I want you to stop measuring your life against a timeline that was never yours. So whose timeline are you even measuring against? Is it society's? Is it your mother's? Is it your friends? Is it that, woman you went to high school with who seems to have everything figured out now all on Instagram? But you are not behind on someone else's path. You're exactly on time for yours. And when you can see it that way, it's such a fundamental shift because the woman who starts a business at 52 is not a late start. She's a woman with 30 years of expertise, wisdom, credibility, and lived experience that some 22-year-old cannot buy. How's that, right? I mean, Vera Wang didn't get into the fashion industry until she was 40. Martha Stewart launched Martha Stewart Living at 49. And then she expanded to TV when she was 50. I mean, we look at her now and think, oh, she's been around forever. Well, she really didn't make things official until around midlife. And like Oprah, right? She launched that OWN network at 57. So this woman that we're talking about is not some beginner at life. She might be a beginner at business building, but there's a massive difference about that. So I want you to ask yourself, whose timeline am I actually living by? And did I ever agree to it in the first place? Number two, I want you to reframe what you think you lost as what you were actually given. Right? This one's a little harder. I know. Because some of you have lost real things. You've lost real relationships that were precious to you. You've lost real careers that you've worked your entire life in the same industry. You've lost real versions of a future you had planned for and you've prayed for. So I'm not minimizing that for 1 second, but I want to just gently offer you this. What if the things that ended were also making room? What if the marriage that ended made room for a version of you that depends fully on God now and discovers that she's more capable than she ever knew? What about the career, right, that plateaued, made room for the work that you're actually called to do? Or that empty nest, for you empty nesters out there that feel like loss made room for the woman who finally has the chance to sit down and ask herself something after taking care of everyone else for so long. Now, what is possible for me? Joel 2:25 says, God will restore the years the locusts have eaten. And that is not just some comfort verse. That's a promise about how he works, about multiplication, about redemption, about the fact that nothing in your story is ever wasted. We have to remind ourselves of that. Not one hard year that you had, not one painful chapter or season, and not one single season of surviving when you wanted to be thriving. None of that is wasted. So ask yourself, what has this season made room for that I haven't let myself imagine yet? You know, some of us hold on to the old seasons and we don't allow ourselves to ask ourselves that question, right? Like, what am I actually being given now? And if you make that shift, it just changes everything. Number three, give yourself permission to really want something new. And this might be the hardest one out of all of these. Because a lot of us, especially women of faith, have been taught that, wanting things for ourselves is somehow selfish. That ambition is pride, right? That dreaming about a different life is ingratitude for the one that we currently have. And so we sit on our calling. We quiet like all that curiosity that we have inside of us. We just ignore it. And we tell ourselves we should just be grateful for what we have and not expect anything more. Be content. And then we wonder why we feel so stuck and unseen, right? Like there's something in us that is not being used. And girl, that feeling, that is not discontentment. That is a calling on your life. And calling is not selfish. Calling is sacred. It's from God. And God did not give you that story, that expertise, that heart to help people just to have it sit quietly on a shelf somewhere until you're too tired to use it, right? He gave it to you because somebody needs it. And right now, in their hardest season, they're waiting for the woman who has been through it to show up and say, I made it through and I can show you how. Your comeback becomes somebody else's permission slip. So give yourself permission to want it, to believe it is still possible, to take that one small step in the direction of the life that God is building, even if you can't see the whole entire blueprint yet. You just need 90 minutes a day, a mustard seed of faith, like I always say, and that's enough to start. I promise you, because that's all I had too. So here is what I want you to walk away with today, okay? You are not too late. You are not starting over. I hate when women say that because we're in midlife. We are not ever starting over. We have too much wisdom and experience after all the years we've spent learning and pouring into others. We've got so much to begin from. You are already building from everything you've already lived. So God is not finished with your story. And the fact that you're here and you're listening and you're wondering about what is still possible, that is not desperation. That's a woman who's waking up to her calling. And that's beautiful. So beautiful. Because the midlife crisis culture, wants to tell you this season is something you just have to survive. And I'm here to tell you it is something to build from, because your comeback is not behind you. It's right here and it's waiting for you to say yes. And God, like I've said before, and I'll say it again, He is never, ever late. So if this episode really stirred something inside of you, and I really hope it did, I want to tell you about something I built specifically for this moment. And like I mentioned in the beginning, the Midlife Comeback Club is now for midlife Christian women who knows that she is called to something more, but has no roadmap for turning that calling into something real, something that pays you, right? Something that fits your real life that you live every day. So inside the club, which I haven't launched yet, but this is what I have been working on over the last several months, because all of you were talking about the one last thing that you needed from me was financial freedom. And I wanted to make sure I could provide the proven roadmap for you to get you there. So when I do launch, and it is coming, it will be launching very soon. And I just want you to get excited about it and start to know that it's coming. But you're going to get access to my flagship program that is built for women who have a story worth sharing, and you have at least 90 minutes a day, 5 days a week is all I need to start building something with it. In phase 1 alone, we're going to go straight to the heart of what we talked about today. We find your niche from your comeback story, because your mess really is your message. And we build that foundation of a business that is rooted in exactly who you are and what you have been through. And you also get live weekly coaching calls where we do all of this together in real time, in community and support. No figuring it out on your own in your living room at midnight, okay? And the coolest thing is we are living through such a transformational age right now with AI. And some of you have been exposed to it. Some of you are using it. Some of you are not. But I have created faith-powered AI systems, which means we are going to use AI not to replace your voice, okay, but to amplify it. So you can create content, build systems, and show up online in a fraction of the time it would take you to do it all manually. We are living through such an amazing time now for women just like you who are solopreneurs or just want to build a small little team. You can do so much in such a short amount of time. It's incredible. And I'm bursting at the seams to share all of it with you, and how I structured my life to be working full time while building a 6-figure side business, homeschooling my kids. And I went back to school to get my master's of fine arts and creative writing at the same time. And the only way that was possible was through these faith-powered AI systems that I created in my businesses. And I can't wait to share that with you too. And I'm the most non-techie girl you'll ever meet, who just learned how to use these systems and learned how to make it fit my real life so that you can have full life freedom, so you can reinvent your lives and really get yourself to a place where you do have that financial freedom. So I'm so excited about it. But also the community, like I always say, the community, the women who are also rebuilding alongside of you, answering their own call and doing the beautiful, terrifying, life-giving work of saying yes to their next chapter too. They're all going to be walking alongside of you. And you will not find a room full of women this real anywhere else, because I know all of you now that have been listening. I know all of you who have been coaching, and I just can't wait to bring more and more women into this wonderful community so we all can start building businesses together that line up with your real lives. So if you are ready, I want you to hang tight, and I will be bringing you more news on that front of when I will be launching. And I'm really, really super excited to finally give you the permission slip to take the first step forward toward that full life freedom that I know you really want, because that's what I've been hearing from you for so long. So if today's episode spoke to you, I definitely want you to keep this in mind. And also, which I think would be really, really great right now, I've got my God-given gifts quiz, which will be perfect to figure out what God has given you as far as gifts that can help you start thinking about what online coaching business you would love to build. So grab that down there in the show notes as well. And just want to thank you for being here with me today, truly. So if this episode hit home for you, if you heard something today that sounded like your own story, will you send it to one woman in your life who might need it too? Because maybe she's in the middle of her own messy in-between season. Maybe she just needs someone to remind her that it's not over. You can be that person for her today. And let me leave you with this. Your comeback is not behind you. It never was, even though you might have thought it was. But God placed the calling before he allowed this hard season to happen. And he has not changed his mind about you for sure. Not for one single day of it. So, until next time, I want you to keep putting God first, your family second, and trust that the systems are coming, the faith-powered AI systems to help you launch your online coaching business. And I will catch you back here for the next episode with more news on that front. Thanks so much for listening. Hey girl, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And if so, would you take 30 seconds and share it with a woman who might really need it right now? Also, please leave me a quick review over on Apple Podcasts. It truly helps this show reach more women who are ready for their divine comeback. And until next time, keep choosing faith over fear, and I will meet you back here next week for another episode.